it's Saturday. I noticed there was a community sale happening one town over. So many chances to ask people. I thought to myself, you know, I could go down to this thing and, you know, instead of going back up to my town, I would then go around that town and check out all the yard sales. Really wasn't sure when this thing was started because some people said 8, some people said 8:30, and other people said 9. So I showed up there around 8:20 as if everybody was already there and set up. So it was crazy. So anyways, I saw one of my nemesis, the lady nemesis, that I saw just yesterday, and she must have had the same idea. So I, you know, pulled ahead pretty fast, trying to get some distance between. Pretty early on, I asked about, you know, Sega, Nintendo, etc., and she had the most, like, confused look on her face. She asked her husband to bring out some stuff. There was a big duffel bag, and inside the duffel bag there was some Genesis games, a Genesis, a Super Nintendo, and these 2 games. I asked, well, how much did they want? And she was like, would $10 be okay? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great, you know? So I'm gathering up this stuff and untangling the wires to make sure everything can fit in my backpack. And she starts to have, like, second thoughts about this whole thing. She's like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to. I was like, well, can I at least maybe have, you know, one of the systems? And she's like, in some game, you know, some of the Genesis, I don't want to take all of both systems. And she says, well, it belonged to her son who had died. And, you know, at that point I felt really bad, but, I was like, just one system, because this, I was like, I literally, if I had just taken that system and walked away, I would have been done with the deal, but because I had to fit it all in my backpack, I had to untangle all these things. She's like, okay, yeah, one, you can take one. So I start, pulling it all together and trying to really get out of there. And then she's like, no, I think I want to have it. And I was like, really, can I just have one? I mean, she's like, then she started, either way, it kept going back and forth. You know, she eventually took all the Genesis games that I had picked out. There was, you know, Batman Returns, Chuck Rock, Miss Pac-Man, Streets of Rage 3, which was in okay condition, and Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. And I said, well, you know, she wasn't going to let me have the Genesis and the Genesis games. And I said, well, maybe can I get at least one of these Genesis games, because I have the Genesis already. And that's why I chose the Super Nintendo. Basically, I was deciding between Streets of Rage 3 and Moonwalker, and I chose Moonwalker. So this is what I got. I was able to get out of there, thankfully. Super Bases loaded, and RoboCop vs. Terminator. I really wish this was the Genesis one, in box with the mail and everything. But controllers, obviously, power adapter, RF, Moonwalker game. So there was a house that was setting up while just next door while I was there. Right as I get there, seriously, one of the lady nemesis shows up, you know, because I spent so much time negotiating that stuff. And mostly girl, like, toys and not Barbie, but other weird. On my way out down the drive, I saw this sticking out like that, and I was like, could that be a Genesis or an Atari? And it ended up being a Master System. There were some other things in there, some other goodies. Phaser, which I don't have outside the box. Kick-ass control stick. Looks almost like because it doesn't have the pause button right on the dumb controller. Probably shared by many other people that thought Space Harrier, on Alex Kidd, Shoplifter, Pro Wrestler, Hang On, and Safari Hunt. The guy wanted 20. I cut him in half at 10. What about 15? I said, how about we meet in the middle at 12? And he said, how about 13? I was like, okay. At another yard sale in the community, I found a Ninja Turtles action figure. I think this guy's name is Dirtbag, but I don't know. I don't know why I picked him up, but I really, you know, didn't want him too much. But they let me have him for free. Went down this one cul-de-sac and I found Kirby Superstar Ultra and some little inserts for DS games and Pokemon Gale of Darkness and Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. I got this for $8. So you like all this stuff. There's a house on the other side, which I don't know if they're having she said, I don't know if they're having a sale, but they usually sometimes have sales. But they have all these games. One house that I thought might be it, and I kind of headed to drive. Nothing really looks that set up, but I saw a bag with games in it. I started looking through the bag, and, you know, somebody comes out and goes like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going? So I felt I was okay to look through the bag. Kiss Psycho Circus, and this game, Let's Go Crazy! You know, for a while I had no idea what the heck the game was saying. Yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom. It's like a special edition of the Yu-Gi-Oh game for PlayStation 1, Forbidden Memories. He brought out like this tub of Game Boy games. Game Boy Color games, Spawn, Mario Land 2. I also picked out a Game Shark, Golden Sun. You could actually transfer your save over to the second game. I don't remember how. Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Sword of Mana. These little tabs that I'm opening and closing and opening are probably just going to break off eventually, so they're not as good as the clasp on the regular one. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. So, I offered him $5 for the thing and he took it. To the sales as usual, but in a totally different town. All pre-mapped out. And I get to this one yard sale and I start asking about games, and this little girl says, "Oh, we have all this Game Boy stuff that we were going to trade in." I was like, you know, they don't take this stuff anymore at GameStop. Really nice Game Boy colors, really in sharp condition. Two, I only grabbed one. An original Game Boy with Donkey Kong Land, Kirby's Pinball Land, Metroid 2, which is very underrated, and it scared the shit out of me when those Metroids popped out on screen when I used to play this game. This is my brother's game, but I played through it and was super, like, this was like one of the first games that I thought was like super challenging, and beating the queen at the end was just like crazy. I offered her $5 for it and she took it, so you would think you would see more, but I see more Game Boy Advances, yeah, mainly Game Boy Advances, so colors are even somewhat rare, and pockets are even more rare. I've never seen a micro either at a Game Boy, or at a so yard sale. I forgot to put up stuff here on my table. Stuff I picked up at the thrift stores. On Thursday I was at this same thrift store and I saw this game, Need for Speed Carbon Collector's Edition. Normally they're around $4 or $5 for the DVDs. I know they're going to have a sale on Saturday. I could probably get this for half, $2. If I find a place to secure this until then, I could save $2. It was risky. But I thought to myself, could I put it inside a printer flap, toaster oven, or a microwave? You know, if someone didn't even notice it, they might start toasting this thing. But there was a stack of mattresses, and I just wedged it underneath one of the bottom ones. It ended up being there on Saturdays till. And I'm exhausted, and I really don't want to go out on Sunday, and I was like, I really don't even want to go. Sometimes I go to the thrift store while I'm checking out some stuff at the grocery store. Early in the morning I had this thought in my head that was just like, well, open one of these bins and there's just like a row of NES or Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis games, and I was just like, oh man, it's this disease, it's a disease, man. So I opened up one of the crates and there was a bag of an N64 set connected to a bag of a ton of N64 games, and it had a sticker on it for $45.99, and the N64 even had the RAM pack. I was really tempted to just buy it like that. Yeah, didn't want to spend it, so I removed the bag with all the games, opened that sucker up, and pulled out some good ones. Star Fox 64, Paper Mario, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, the Collector's Edition, Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon Stadium 2. The other games I left there were Diddy Kong Racing, all the Star Wars games that came out for the system. I had a bunch of sports games as well. Racing games, Jet Force Gemini I left, GoldenEye I left. I mean, I left some good games. I figured, you know, I wasn't going to let those go. So I take them up to the counter. They seem to be having this real rough look on their face lately, and I said they didn't have any prices on them. Would you give me a price? And for all that, the person gave me it for $10. So it's hard to recover from a disease when the satisfaction you get is so great when it pays off. So anyways, I hope you guys had an excellent weekend, and you know what to do. Get out there and get hunting.